Am I getting close to him?
Yeah.
sorry. Noob driver.
I wonder if you know how to live in Tokyo.
So Jack, how did you acquire this car, this 93 Skyline that you have right now?
Well, I actually ended up trading. I had a 05 Duramax that I ended up trading for it, and that was not a great decision because I had to put a lot of money into a Duramax because it is a Duramax. So that was a little bit of a oopsie, but now I have a Skyline, so that's cool. Straight, right?
So overall, do you enjoy driving this car, owning this car, doing everything that you've done to this car? Do you think it's a mistake that you got this car?
Overall, I really don't think it is. It's one of the things where if I never got it, I would always want it.
So what are your plans for this car? Is it going to be a show build? Is it going to be a track build? Or what is it going to be?
I more like going to car meets if I get the chance to, and it's more focused towards that and just going and having fun. Just spirited driving is really all.
Spirited driving's always fun.
all I really like doing. I'd like to go to the track, but not really in this, and not really even in the MR2. Once I get it done, it's probably just going to be a driving around car. The truck behind us is flashing its lights at me.
I wonder why. I don't know why.
What's up, dude?
He's probably just like, it's a Skyline.
We're going straight?
Yeah, just keep going straight.
You can't beat a Skyline.
Yeah, they're...
You see that smile on his face? Like, you can't get that with most other cars. So
No.
This is one of the reasons why Jack absolutely loves this car. Yes, he's an attention whore too, but
Absolutely. Look at the color.
Dude, this thing is awesome. Like anything old in JDM.
so I've heard you mention a lot about your MR2. I absolutely love that thing. I remember seeing it at one of the car meets and I was like, oh my God, it's an MR2. MR2s have always been one of my favorite cars ever. If I wouldn't have got my Lotus, I would have gotten an MR2 before I got my Lotus. Just because, I mean, MR2s and Lotuses are pretty similar in build and just the way they drive and whatnot. I love your second gen. So you want to talk to me about your second gen a little bit more?
Sure. So currently right now as it sits, I'm going to be probably end up taking out a loan and going to send that off up to TCS Motorsports in Kentucky and get a 5th gen engine swap, which would put it about $315, and then with a billet upgrade package they have, probably be about $350 if I can do that. And
that sound though. So the ultimate question is, what do you do for a living to be able to afford the Skyline and the MR2 and stuff like that?
well, I'm actually a welder. I've had a job where I've done stainless steel and aluminum TIG, and at the moment I'm doing production MIG work because I wasn't being paid what I needed to be to do stainless steel and TIG. Where I work now, they don't really care that much, and you're still going to be starting out at like 16 an hour, which is solid, especially when you're doing 50-hour shifts and you're doing overtime, and when it gets busy you're doing 60 hours.
So roughly you could start out at like $40,000-$50,000 a year, or work up to about $40,000-$50,000 a year within the first year or so of working. And to me, you can actually go and find a job like that without even having a college degree or anything, just straight out of high school, and you can be making really, really good money. So don't believe it when people say you have to have an education to make good money. You really don't. So this is a question that I always have to ask people is, why, or do you feel like you made the right choice financially purchasing or acquiring this car the way that you did? What are your thoughts?
No.
So this channel talks a lot about automotive and finances and how it goes together with real life situations and like real life people. and just real life in general, what do you want to give the viewers? Like, do you have any tips or tricks you want to give the viewers, people that are watching this video, like how to avoid making bad decisions or how to stay out of debt or anything like that from your perspective?
Yeah, don't get into cars.
Do drugs instead. Don't get into cars.
I don't know. I don't know which one's worse, really.
So it feels really, really weird being on the right side of the, I guess, car.
Yes,
and just driving on the right side. Yeah, this is a car. It is a car.
Believe it or not.
My left hand is not very, very coordinated with my eyes, so bear with me. So for people wanting to know what it feels to drive a right-hand drive car, it really doesn't feel any different, except you're used to your right hand being on the shifter and your left hand being on the wheel. This is backwards, and I'm probably straddling that line like a lot.
For a few reasons.
Yeah, for a few reasons. But it's just a different feeling just because you've never really driven a right. I mean, I've driven one before. It's just been a long time, and I'm used to driving left-hand drive cars, so I don't look at this line. I always try to tend to stay away from this side of the road. So you kind of have to adjust to it. I don't think it'll be a problem if I own this car, if I daily drove this car, or even drove it on the weekends. This would actually be really, really fun. I would drive through every single drive-through backwards and see what their reactions are. They'll probably start throwing food at me, but hey, free food.
Yeah,
I don't care. So what was your first car, and how did you get it? Did you enjoy that car as well? I can already tell from your face.
So my first car was a 1994 Camaro V6 automatic. My mom had actually ended up buying that one from a family member for about $800, and it was awful. I went through.
Was it $800 awful?
It would have been good for $400.
So $400 awful. Okay.
I went through a bunch of thermostats in it. I ended up. It was mainly broken most of the time I had it, and I drove my mom's Honda Fit to high school.
So for me, my first dream car was anything Nismo, anything Nissan, like a Nismo or even a Skyline. I really wanted a Skyline when I was younger, and then I got a Nismo 350Z and I absolutely love it. Hey, there's an IS300. I keep seeing all kinds of cars today.
Yeah.
All kinds of cars I've always wanted and stuff as well. But I've always wanted an MR2 as well. You own an MR2, literally the generation that I absolutely want so bad. I actually skipped buying that just so I can get my Lotus.
Give him a little bit of spool.
A little bit of spool.
You're bit. Yeah,
more.
the alignment in this car is a little bit off, so we're hitting the gas and you're
getting close to it. Am I getting close to it?
Yeah.
sorry. Noob driver.
Yeah, so not only are you like naturally positioning yourself a little bit more into where you would be driving left-hand drive, the car's pulling to the left when you accelerate.
It doesn't help at all.
No, it doesn't.
So I'm just not that bad of a driver. It's just the car's
the car's literally yanking you over to the left at the moment. Dream car wise.
Yeah, I forgot. I saw that IS300, had a little fun with him.
Yeah.
Forgot to ask you, what is your current dream car?
I would say right now it's either a Ferrari F430.
Ooh, I like those.
They're gorgeous.
They're gorgeous.
They're almost attainable if you think an $80,000 car is attainable at the moment.
I'd say it's pretty attainable. Come on now. You got this. You got to believe in yourself.
That's fair. I do need to believe in myself. And if not that, I really want like a 80s to 90s Porsche 911 Targa.
Ooh, yes.
That would be incredible, but they're so expensive and they're hard to find.
Yeah. They're literally going to hold their value until the day that we both die.
Yeah, they're gorgeous cars. I absolutely love them.
What got you into cars? For me, it was back then racing, games. Literally the only thing I had was games because I couldn't afford to buy an actual car.
Yeah.
So what was it for you?
It's pretty much the same thing. Everybody is like, oh, it's just in Need for Speed Underground. You know, that's the one. And there's a car coming up. It's just, I've always liked them. My dad liked cars a lot, so I've been a little bit interested in them from that. And always had like some car mags around, and then car video games I played a lot of, like, what was it called? Burnout, Need for Speed, and I've really liked Forza Horizon a lot.
And like the Fast and Furious franchise.
Yeah.
Really, what the first few movies, what really got me into cars.
Oh yeah.
Especially Tokyo Drift. That's
Tokyo
really what
Drift
inspired
was-
to get my first
was
350Z was Tokyo Drift. So fluffy.
Like that.
Oh god. I'm straddling.
You're-
I'm sure all these people are like, what the heck is he
is this
doing? Like
drunk?
swerving all over the place. Sorry, I'm just right-hand drive.
Yeah. And they're lovely, beautiful cars.
Like which car or which cars that you got rid of that you sound like you got rid of a bunch of cars that you really didn't wish you got rid of, but what is it for
Really
you?
just
like
one that
just
I
one?
really,
Okay.
really
All right.
regret.
Let's talk about it.
I ended up with a 1976 Porsche 911 Targa with a whale tail. It was black with tan interior, 5-speed manual. And now that I know more about cars, I never, ever should have gotten rid of it. The way it came into my possession was my dad ended up buying it when I was about 14 for us to restore. And we had it for a little bit, and this was around 2008 when everybody, the economic stuff, or I guess it was 9 or 10, so we were still recovering from it. It wasn't good, so we had it. Nothing really got done with it in the time, and then he ended up passing away shortly after I turned 15. I didn't know anything about cars at the time. I was just a dumb 15-year-old.
We're all dumb 15-year-olds, man.
We ended up getting the gas tank and fuel lines replaced, and it ended up costing like $3,000.
Oh, wow.
And they ended up losing our first fuel tank.
They lost your fuel tank?
Yeah, because they had to ship it from Germany, and it just got lost. It cost $3,000, and in 15-year-old money, that's an astronomical amount of money.
Yeah. I mean, that's still a
that's
pretty
still
big
a
chunk
lot
now.
And I wouldn't be happy paying that now, but like I didn't know anything about these cars. I wouldn't be able to work on them myself, but my dad was really good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while, it was really just sitting. We could never really drive it. Ended up selling it for about $4,900. 220,000 miles on it. It had some paint chipping off, but really that was way too little even back when I sold it, which I think was around 2012, 2013.
Wow.
Maybe?
That's what this channel is all about.
Yeah.
It's like your mistakes, things you can do better, things that you can, I guess, do. You basically don't get a do-over, but you're smarter now than you were 8, 9, 10 years ago.
Yeah,
So,
that's
I mean, there's always things that we wish we couldn't have gotten, we wish we would have kept that we didn't, and vice versa. So, I really, really am glad that I got to talk to you today and just kind of get your insight on everything, just kind of get to know you a little bit more than I already knew you, and just being able to just talk cars. Like, it makes me happy. Spend a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Just literally just doing this makes my whole entire month, really. Thanks for driving all this way up here just to interview with me. Just let me drive this car and just give me an insight on how your financials and stuff are, and just everything that you've done with cars and whatnot. And I hope we can actually review your MR2 when it gets back up and running and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that as well. So it was really, really good. Thanks you guys for watching. This is Automotive Economics. We'll see you next time.
Wow.